Alrighty, we've got a screen-used belt and whip from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. We're here at Propstore, out deep in the valley where it's super hot, but the air conditioning is very fine. Thank you, by the way, because normally it's not so good.
Freshly tuned.
Yeah.
Freshly tuned.
We're here with Brandon Allinger, head honcho at Propstore, and we're talking all about the big entertainment memorabilia live auction, September 4th, 5th, and 6th. Go to propstore.com, check out your catalog, or order a copy if you want a little bit of one for your bookshelf, however you like it. An incredible Indiana Jones collection in general, but with a lovely emphasis on The Last Crusade, starting with this piece. First of all, let's start with the fact this is the only belt I've ever seen. Even on the complete costume that I know of that is out there,
there's no belt.
there is no whip belt. So that is really, really special. And what makes it that much more special is it's not just the belt, which would be good enough, but it came with the whip attached to the belt, including something we've seen markings of, but we've never quite seen before, which are these little sort of, I don't know what you want to call them, metal ties, little metal,
ties,
almost like twisties,
Yeah.
that on a lot of the belt whips, we have seen indentation lines from them. Like that's like that is a common thing. But we are actually now seeing basically how the belt was on when he's just not using it, how it was on his belt, and how this kind of all kept everything kind of coiled basically, which is fabulous. And so they're there. You do see in a couple of spots, like for example here, if you want to come down, you can see an indentation, a line there. It's on this side. Maybe you come around.
You can see there
there's
too.
one too, right there. So you can see those markings. The whip, really nice condition whip. It's got the cracker on it, all of that kind of stuff. 100% a belt whip. This probably, most likely, never left the belt. That was its usage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that the 8 foot, certainly on Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, is what they were using primarily on the belt. The common theory is the 10 foots is what they were using more for being cracked.
Action scenes.
I don't know if we can prove that.
No,
100%,
I'm not going to say never say never, but it just seems like this was sort of locked on and kind of came off the set, however, like
and I think it's noteworthy that I don't think another 8 foot whip, let me just think about this. Maybe a long time ago, maybe there's that one Temple of Doom whip a long time ago that's an 8 foot that went through auction. I think this is maybe only the second 8 foot whip to ever, there are a number, there's probably 6, 8, 10 whips that have gone through auctions over the years in total. All the other ones just about are 10 footers. Maybe we saw a 6 foot at some point, but 10 foot is kind of the common.
It seemed like after Raiders, they ordered up a bunch of whips and then used them in those two movies, and a lot of the belt ones were 10 foot.
Yeah.
This is great. And then to go back to the belt for a second.
Yeah.
Very obviously simple, probably just some kind of who knows, Army, Navy kind of a thing.
I think they probably made it.
You think they made it? Okay.
I think they probably made it,
And then this is the kind of thing you would see almost with a gun holster.
Right.
This is like what a gun holster would hook into, but that's where they've got the whip sort of attached.
Yeah.
And it's just fabulous.
And here, let me show, so I can undo the snap here. I'm not going to undo the wire tie, obviously, but when you look at it,
additional, right?
There's kind of a dye line where the leather is dyed, and then there's a portion that's undyed, and there's a frame in the film, or a couple frames when he's on the tank, the whip holster is open, and you see it. I can't say it's this exact one, but it is exactly like that.
But you see that color.
Yeah, and so that's just a little tell that you would never see anywhere else unless you were looking for it, unless you went to study the whip holster. You would just never figure that out. But it's like a witness mark that you see super specifically on the screen.
And I will say, we have seen, again, all the Indy whips are fabulous. And we've seen other whips that seem like they were on the belt, they were great, whatever. There is something about this one being on the belt where the belt makes the whip better, the whip makes the belt better. The combo is...
Even if you took the belt away, because you can uncoil it without disrupting the metal ties, you can just kind of work it back through the loop.
Out through it.
So you could ultimately display them separately. For me, maybe if it was mine, I might display them separately. Although I do think it looks good on the stand. But just
I think this is a lovely stand too. Yeah.
The fact that it came with this, it's elevating the whip a lot.
Yes, I think it's sort of
much more interesting.
It makes it that much more interesting. That being said, if someone is only interested in the whip, I will 1,000% take the belt.
That was
for
the
my
lead-in.
costume.
I was setting you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, that's a good, nice assist.
The whip would be
Brandon
great.
with the assist.
Yeah.
The belt is incredible. I wish I didn't have a whip so that I could get the belt and the whip. Yeah. But just really incredible. And incredible, again, that thing that keeps happening in this wonderful, crazy collecting field of ours, which is just when you think you've seen everything,
Something pops up.
Yeah. The belt in general, but in this case, the fact that they're attached to each other.
And look, it's a great story.
Yeah.
The guy was a kid. He lived there in Marin County. They shot the motorcycle chase sequence at a place called Mount Tamalpais. Right. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but that's where they shot it. He went to school right there. He knew people who were working on the film. He got to watch filming for a day, and at the end of the day, they went, "Oh, here you go, enjoy." And he's had it since, I think it was February 1989. And he said for many years it was stored in a Monopoly game box at his parents' house. And I hear this story from time to time. It's like, we always knew it was neat. It was kind of a prize, but
we never thought twice about it.
But when you're 15 or 20 or whatever, it's just, what are you doing with that? And at some point he actually took it, had it nicely shadow boxed, and had it on the wall. But I think even then maybe wasn't fully aware of what the value of it was. So look, we love it when stuff like this surfaces for auction. These are the dream calls. Is like, I got to visit the set and they gave me something. You're like, what's he gonna say?
Right.
And it's like, oh, a whip and a belt.
Right.
And it's like, wow, we've never seen.
How is that possible? Right. Yeah. So he just took it home.
Part of the fun.
He put it with his Jaws eyes because it's the same kid.
No, different kid.
Yeah. Oh, different kid. Okay.
Yeah.
See another video for that.
Yeah.
Truly incredible. It is, again, I keep saying it, just truly amazing to see the belt and together really something special. In the catalog, you will find on days 2 and 3 a selection of Shankara stones from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. However, on day 1, you have one, and why is it on day 1? It's there for a very specific reason. The other ones are prototypes.
Yeah, and this is a proper one.
This is
with the 3 lines on it.
With the 3 lines. And again, the other ones are really fascinating to look at. It's a real peek into just how these movies are made, I think, in a really fun way. But this not only has the 3 lines that sort of looks proper. Am I okay to show the bottom? This is a really wonderful tell for all you prop fakers out there. This is the piece of adhesive that was used to kind of keep it sort of sitting on the set. And that is just a really wonderful, nice touch of old adhesive that pushes this piece for me over the line. Yeah.
It's also, I love when you look at these and you kind of see these like very subtle, it's almost like a separation of the material. It's not like they just popped this out of a plaster mold and painted it brown. There's like a depth to it, which I think ties into the other version, the kind of glowing version.
Right.
It's like they wanted these things to seem like,
to feel like more than just a
like more than just a rock,
but also to hint at the crystal sort of in there in some ways.
Yeah.
Have you been able to screen match it at all?
No, we haven't.
Just couldn't.
We did look. You can't.
There have been ones that you've been able, not that you've been able to in the past.
I think one has turned out to match. So
that's okay. That's one.
But it has the 3 lines, which you're seeing frequently in the movie.
This, like I said, the 3 lines. The look of it, and boom, 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 really, really incredible.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at a couple more pieces.
Okay.
Really great costume selections. This is Indy from Venice. So basically, this is the Venice suit, or when they're kind of trying to find X marks the spot. Really nice piece. And one of the things that's actually very cool about it, a label and the OW over wetsuit, and it says Indiana Jones and everything. Just really fantastic. But anything else to add on that? Sorry.
Oh, just the label Burmans and Nathans.
Burmans and Nathans
is
label,
sort of the place of legend if you're a collector of Star Wars.
The costume, Lucas connection. Yes.
Yes.
And I do like this a lot, but I really, really like this. This is Sean Connery, Professor Henry Jones. But what makes this extra special with Bullet Wound. So this is from the end sequence of the film. Where he obviously gets shot by Donovan, and part of the Finding the Grail. Spoiler alert, sorry. I love the detail. I love the fake blood on it. And then, I don't know if we can, how hard it is.
I think this one, I actually think the label may only be in the pants, or it may just be in the vest. But if I open it up, you'll see there is a lot of blood in here. And I suspect that
I just love that.
Yeah, you see how cut out that is.
And just the blood.
If this was still intact, I think you could screen match it. This is the part you see super well in the film that you would match to, and of course it's been cut away. But you can see it's heavily bloody over here. I don't know if that's blood also, or
it looks
something
like
else.
it, like maybe just as it's on the ground running.
Yeah. But this is the only Sean Connery costume we've had. We've actually had his hat, but we've never had the hat.
Suit. There is another suit out there, but it doesn't have the bullet wound.
Right.
It doesn't have the bullet wound. So this with the bullet wound, again, that when we're talking about prop collecting, scene specific, that specificity really makes it extra special, I think.
Yeah.
And then once you buy these 2, you hop on this thing. fantastic to see. The motorcycle and sidecar. There's been a little bit of modifications because someone actually rode this and kept it, right, as a real motorcycle, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was rented into the production. We have copies of the rental documents. It's on Lucasfilm headed paper, has all the terms. It actually says in there we're going to repaint it. And when we give it back to you, it's going to be as we painted it. But presumably then the owner was using it as, a street bike.
Right.
So things like the speedometer there on the top of
That's
it.
something that got added
Right,
later.
it's not there in the movie. Now, I don't know if it was there and they took it off of the movie and then they put it back, or they just put it back. Things like some of these running lights, the brake lights, I think they're of more modern era.
Gotcha.
Because this is a 1980s bike that's just made to look
Right.
like a 1930s or 40s bike. But we have a great photo match on this. When you go through, you watch the sequence, you can see there's definitely a couple of them.
There's multiple bikes. There was also probably a bike that didn't actually work, that probably was just pulled, like a tow bike, that they would have sat on for some of the camera work.
Yes.
And then they probably had one like this that could actually
Yes.
run.
This
So
may
that's-
have been the tow bike.
Oh,
because
interesting.
One of the photos, you can tell there's a rig on it. There's a part in the movie where the German motorcycle kind of comes up on the back.
Right,
and
where he kind of
hits his
does like a
tire on it,
wheelie kind of a
and you
thing,
can
yeah.
see they've got it all set up for
interesting.
that gag. So I think it may have been used for shots in the sequence also where it's driving, maybe shot from the back. Some of the parts that have been changed make it a little tough to tell. But like I say, definitive photo match to a couple of shots. There's some very specific markings on the front here, and these markings, which are like military insignia, I do think that was all put on for the film. Unfortunately, they never took it off.
Oh, that's kind of good. Yeah.
I've never seen another one of these that was screen matched or
Right.
confirmed 100% good.
There was one that was at Planet Hollywood, the restaurant, but I don't think it screen matched ever.
Yeah, I'm
Way,
not
shape, or
sure
form.
exactly
Yeah.
what the story. I also don't know if it's sold
Yeah.
or not. I'm not sure about
Yeah,
that.
I don't know if it was real or not.
Um,
I'm just saying that
right.
they had it in a
Yeah.
in a restaurant.
Yeah. But this one, we've known about it for a while. It's finally coming to light. I don't think it's ever been in public auction before. I think it was sold privately through a dealer in the 90s who got it right from the person that rented it into the movie. So it's pretty cool.
And these things happen separately, meaning the
Yes.
suits come,
Yes.
this comes, the whip comes. These
Right.
are all sort of
Sometimes that
separate.
just happens with
Yeah,
an auction.
and you just
Yeah.
build this
Yeah.
this indie
That's right.
hunk.
Same
yeah.
thing with Jaws, Clapper, all
Yeah.
eyes, different sources. It's fun. And look,
Yeah.
I think the nice thing with this is, unlike maybe a movie car, this is a little bit more manageable.
You can almost get this in
Yeah.
your living room,
Yeah.
honey.
You could definitely get it in your garage. You could get it in your garage and still get your car in your garage. So I think it's really great.
Yeah, sure, as long as no one else has a car in your house. But yeah, it's
Make room.
it's pretty amazing, and there's something about seeing it with the costumes
Yeah.
that just that much
It's
more
also,
special.
for me,
Yeah.
it's a particularly great part of the film.
Right.
It's just a great sequence and it really speaks to the Indy series as a whole.
Was this for you? Are you like Ryan? Is this the first one you saw in a theater?
That's a good question. Probably just based
Yeah.
on the timing. But look, we talked about.
No, you like them all. I'm not.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
them all. Yeah, but it's probably this and Raiders are right up there for me, and then Temple of Doom is just a touch below that. Not far below, just a touch.
The Sean Connery. I mean, I love the movie. The Sean Connery of it really, to me, makes it work on this whole other level.
Yeah.
I like them all. I like
Yeah.
those three. Yeah, all.
Yeah,
all,
you
all.
look, you
Yeah.
can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
Just fabulous. Just really wonderful. On to Berlin. Hey, Stuff Dreams Are Made Of fans. I'm here at the big Propstore event in Beverly Hills, and we're here. We've talked a whole bunch about this whip, and here at the party, I actually met the former 16-year-old kid who was given this when he was visiting the set. Check out this story. It's pretty incredible.
I grew up in Fairfax, California. Lucas lives in San Anselmo. He had always been like among the, you'd see him out in restaurants and whatnot. So when he decided to film that scene, the ride-away scene from Last Crusade, he chose the fire roads of Mount Tamalpais. I went to elementary school at Deer Park School, which is essentially just abuts those fire roads. And so it was sort of no secret. It was like everybody knew they were going to film these scenes from Indy up at Deer Park.
How old are you at the time?
I tried to do the math before. So I was born in 73, and it was, what did we say, 89. So what's that, 16? Is that right? Yeah. So it was like word was they were filming the movie up there, and obviously that's a huge deal for all of us. And we, there was probably, on any given day, there was between 5 and 10 kids, maybe at the most 15 would show up. We all kind of knew each other. We were all neighborhood kids, and there wasn't really security or they weren't really telling people where they could and couldn't be. It just wasn't a big enough crowd for that to matter. And so we were sort of able to mingle seamlessly. And again, it's kind of a close community. So one of our family friends, who was she was a costume designer, clothing designer by trade. That's what she did for a living. Worked in leather a lot. Like, it's the 80s. She coming from the 70s, and she was hired as just a local person by the prop master at the time. So in other words, didn't work for Lucas, didn't work for the company, but was picked up as someone for that shoot. And so between like that familiarity was just like, I think the stuntmen was who I was hanging out with the most. That was like, for some reason, they were the ones that had the most free time. They were just kind of sitting around a lot until they were called to do their thing. The stunt being the, when the motorbike flips up, right? That would be the one that they were talking about. And so we were talking to the stuntmen a ton, obviously asking them what their job was like. And I don't remember, but I believe that the call sheet that comes with it that I had from that shoot was a separate thing. That was given to me by someone else. So I think it was one of the stuntmen was the one who gave me the call sheet. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't part of the package or anything. Because it was after the shoot that the family friend was like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to have something to remember the shoot by. And so, yeah, that was it. I mean, Spielberg was there. Everyone was there. There was at least one day, and it must have been the day of the call sheet, that Connery, Ford, Spielberg, Lucas were all on that shoot. So, like, that was kind of, like, in retrospect, it was a big deal. At the time, weirdly, it didn't seem like a huge deal, just because I'd seen Lucas around town and whatnot. And maybe because the films were young still, but later on, as I went on in life, I was kind of like, God, to catch a film shoot when everybody's basically there, and there's not a gazillion people and security and whatnot, it's pretty wild.
Well, wait, so what is the moment? Do you remember the moment? Was like, did you ask for it, or was it like, hey kid, do you want this?
I obviously was like, I was trying to prod for like, what can I, is there anything I could possibly take away from this experience, that's a little bit more than just the call sheet, you know what I mean? And so I was able to do it that way.